This is why you're like obese with fucked up natural hormones,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
As an endocrinologist, that's supposed to help you with your
Correct.
hormones, right? Okay.
And he's telling me I should go to a psych doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's literally like
Thanks.
my
Yeah,
point. Like people think I'm talking out my ass and then boom.
we did some,
Real story with a licensed endocrinologist. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at Russo Lifts, just in case something happens to this YouTube channel. You can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. ASMR sip of 1907. Today's video topic is going to be touching on the infertility myths with testosterone replacement therapy, synthetic androgens in general. So there's still a big propagated myth that the minute you put one shot of testosterone in your ass, you're completely infertile for life. And I get a lot of people DMing me that still to this day on my Instagram at Russo Lifts. You know, they're like, oh, I feel like shit. I have low testosterone, but I want to have a family in the future. And, you know, Western medicine has told me that if I go on synthetic androgens, I probably have problems conceiving a child. And then I go into the argument and I'll have Andrew put up a picture of Boston Lloyd, who is, in my opinion, one of the OG most famous steroid abusers in the world, who put 3 cc's in his ass every single day. And I'll have Andrew throw up a picture, conceived a healthy son with Ariella, and Ariella also abused steroids. So how can they have a kid if this myth is true, right? Wouldn't that be the complete opposite of like they would be trying forever? I think they did one fertility protocol of clomiphene, HMG, HCG by Dave Palumbo, and they were good to go. What are we doing over there, Tony?
Put it
Eye drops.
eye drops, yeah. So I was just remembering why you said that, Russo, that actually when I first started steroids, one of the benefits is I wanted to reduce my fertility because I wasn't ready to have children. And I did enough research to know that steroids would reduce fertility, but that you could get the fertility back. So I actually saw the secondary benefit of steroids, the side effect being to reduce my fertility. But despite me wanting to reduce my fertility, I still had an accidental pregnancy, and I have a 7-year-old daughter as a result, and a 3-year-old, both on steroids.
And that was on steroids?
Both of them, yeah.
Rob, you were going into a specific example where it seems like you had the big boy juice head in the gym who's blasting heavy still, and he has how many children?
yeah, so there's a good guy at my local gym. He's probably been on gear anywhere from 15, 20 years. Going, hasn't stopped. Bear in mind, and he's going on fourth kid.
Fourth kid.
Fourth kid, and he's the same age as me, 37, 30.
Yeah, with me, I just don't understand it. Like, obviously, if you read into the medical literature, it's going to cause infertility because you're going to, alter the gonads. But do we not look into the literature on all the fertility medications that exist that are synthetic, LH signalers, synthetic FSH signalers? Do we just, ignore the other half of science to get the fertility back and only focus on, oh, it's going to shut you off? Like, do we only look at one side of the coin? Why is it always a one-sided argument with one of these myths?
Yeah, so, I actually stumped a urologist on this one. I go with. He's pretty well known urologist now, and blowing up on the TikTok scene and stuff. I'm not going to mention names, but we were talking about this one about TRT and stuff like that, and she's like, I brought up what my TRT protocol was. We were just having small talk, and she goes, well, you don't plan on having kids, right? And I got 2. And she goes, how did you do that? I said, well, if you look at the other side of it and you take HCG along with other things, you can boost your fertility. She goes, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's a licensed urologist.
Correct.
Yeah, I just...
because, they're told one thing, and a lot of them, bear in mind, great people, but they're almost like shit.
Right.
They follow the math. So one piece of literature says, one piece of literature down, that's it. There is free-thinking doctors that...
I know there are a few far in between leprechaun free-thinking doctors left, but Most of them are long gone.
So actually, while I was on gear, I probably had 2 other pregnancies and abortions, and also another miscarriage. So like, it wasn't just the 2 kids. Like, there was plenty of fertility there. However, now after being on gear for 9 years, now I've been trying to get one of my girlfriends pregnant for a while, and she's not getting pregnant. So, I don't know if that's me or that's her. Took her to the doctor. Doctor said everything's fine with her. Did my sperm count test. My sperm count is really low. Like, let's say more than 15 million is normal. Let's say you want 25 million or something. And mine's like 1/10 the normal amount of sperm, but it's still enough sperm to get someone pregnant. And like, if it matters that much, I'll tell you what, I'd rather have to spend a bunch of money to get in vitro fertilization and have to spend money to get pregnancy,
I was going to bring that up,
than have $1 million mistake, because it is $1 million mistake to have an unplanned pregnancy. So,
yeah.
Go
into.
Wait, I have to tell you this. I have one of my coaching clients whose his top priority is to not decrease his fertility. And so he's like, I don't want to get on steroids because I don't want to ruin my fertility. And I looked at his physique and I said, this guy's deficient in steroids. I mean, he's just deficient in testosterone, androgens, but I like to say steroids. It's just sensational. So I put him on steroids, and his body is transforming. His brain is transforming. And this guy's like a different person in just 2 weeks. Like, the best thing that has ever happened to him. And the way I explained it to him is, if you have deficient testosterone, you have suppressed fertility. Like, if I bring your fertility up to a natural level, it'll actually increase your fertility.
So speaking of that brings me into like the next, how I went about it. And I have 2 healthy sons, both on TRT, and let's say some other things thrown in there, but they're healthy boys, strong. When I first was extremely unhealthy 6 years ago and went the TRT route, I went to an endocrinologist, and I said, well, when I told him about the TRT and stuff like that, he thought there was something mentally wrong with me, that I had a psychological issue, that I needed to take testosterone to get healthier. So, okay, that's great. I was looking at him with like the straight, like,
this is why you're like obese with fucked up natural hormones, right?
Yeah, correct.
As an endocrinologist, that's supposed to help you with your hormones, right? Okay.
And he's telling me I should go to a psych doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
It's literally like my point. Like, people think I'm talking out my ass, and then boom.
We did
real story with a licensed endocrinologist going to a psychologist when the hormones.
Yeah.
Like for these Western medicine fucks, like, why can't they realize that like hormones, estrogen directly impacts brain chemistry?
Exactly.
Like, why can't they put that together? Like, to me, I'll sit there and be like, it's so obvious that like the way a female's a female, higher estrogen.
Right.
The way a male's a male, higher testosterone. Like, why is that simple concept so hard to understand, that brain chemistry? Like, go take LSD. If you think brain chemistry isn't just a bunch of chemicals that control your emotions, go take 2 tabs of acid, and then you'll realize, like, wow, like, it's all just chemicals in my head on my emotions.
Yep.
I don't understand.
And I was diagnosed with hypogonadism. He knew. He saw the lab work, so it was right there. My head did all the testing, So then I said, well, we want to have a child. So I said, I would like, I had to approach this. I was like, I want to get a sperm check. I want to get a count. And like, bear in mind, I'm 32 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that I would have a normal sperm count, stuff like that. And I got checked, and I was like, I was even lower than Tony, I think. I was like they're like, it's almost impossible to get a girl pregnant with this count. So we went with the Clomid dose, and it got my numbers up a little bit. But then after watching a lot of videos with Tony on YouTube and him talking about HCG and stuff like that, I was the one that brought it up to the end. I said, what about HCG? And he goes, oh, yeah. But come on. So I literally took, because I learned from Tony, and started doing like 500, 250 twice a week of HCG.
Yeah, the batshit scapegoat of PEDs ruining the fitness industry. You learned how to conceive a child. Wow.
Yeah. And boom, shortly after we got pregnant. And then, so I was like, you know what? I was thinking, let me maybe get off HCG. I already have a child. Like, I'll go back. And I was like, then something in my head, I don't know what it was. I was like, let me just stay on HCG. I'll do a dose a week. Year and a half later, boom, second kid. Like, so it's like the myth that, if you're blasting testosterone through the roof, then yeah, maybe. But if you do it,
I just think Boston Lloyd is the greatest example because, like, I know Boston Lloyd, like, you can make the argument, like, the higher androgen level, the more toxicity to the sperm count destroys the sperm count. And Boston Lloyd was psychotic doing, over a gram a tren, fucking 2 grams a test. Like, for him to recover his fertility when I know he didn't really have any inclination on maintaining fertility while blasting that, it just makes it very hard for me to sit there in an argument and be like, oh, so you're infertile forever and you can't intervene with other exogenous compounds. But I think Tony's a good example because Tony's been on for an extremely long period of time and is facing fertility issues. So it will be interesting to see if Tony can put together the protocol to prove everyone wrong since he has been failing at this pregnancy. Tony, how serious have you been taking it? And Tony, were you doing fertility medications your entire time, stepping on to the dark side? Because I have always implemented HCG my entire, enhanced career, I guess I'll say.
Most of the time that I was enhanced, I wanted to suppress my fertility, so I even was taking things like S23. I didn't avoid things like Deca or Tren. I didn't, although, all along the way, I didn't want to actually shut down my fertility completely. I just wanted to suppress it because I was afraid, the more I shut it down, then if I do want to reactivate it someday, the longer it's going to take. So I would always take HCG. No, not always. I let my balls shrink so much that they went up inside me on Tren.
Wow.
Okay, so you had like straight raisin balls.
No balls. They went, they're raisins and then they go up inside as raisins. Yeah, so there's no testicles. Like there's just a little bit of a sac left underneath. Just sac. So that's shutdown. There's a difference between suppression, a little bit of depressed testosterone levels and like complete shutdown where you're not producing any and there's no fertility left. So like if you completely shut down and your testicles disappear, okay, you're not going to produce any sperm. You are 100% shut down. But anything less than that, you're still producing some amount of sperm. So it's like I wanted to suppress my fertility by like 90%, but I still wanted to keep that 10% so that I could expand on that easier when it's time to get a girl pregnant. So I would always, after my balls disappeared, I decided after that point I wasn't going to let myself ever get shut down completely again. So I always did HCG, which is really easy because I could take HCG, like 1,000 units of HCG twice a week for just like 1 week a month. So just 2,000 units of HCG, which costs nothing, once a month was enough to maintain at least my testicle size, and they did not let a complete shutdown. And then along the way, I would take a little bit of Clomid every once in a while. And then I would take natural testosterone boosters and things like that. And then I would have my sperm tested every once in a while and see that I'm not shut down, that there's still sperm there. So that's fine. Now with this girl, I don't know that we're going to try to have a kid anymore because I think we might want to go different directions in life, because also for her, it was kind of like, if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. And we tried it for 6 months and it didn't. Oh, actually it did happen one time and then she had a miscarriage. So actually I take that back. So I was able to get her pregnant, but only one time. And actually it was like we tried for 2 months and then we took a 3-month break and then we tried for 6 months. And it was before the break that she got pregnant. So like and this is every time hitting the ovulation and doing everything right. So like one out of 9 times or something like that, I got her pregnant, which is not very much. It should be more than that. I mean, heck, baby mama 2 got pregnant the first ovulation. When we decided to have a baby, when I said, okay, I made an agreement with her, I'll take care of you the rest of your life. If you take care, raise my child, deal. Okay, first ovulation, boom, pregnant. And that was 3 years, well, the kid's 3 years old, so that was 4 years ago. So that was 5 years into me using gear. And I'm not extreme with the gear like everybody thinks. I do short experiments, but still, like, the audience says, "Oh my God, you're going to be shut down forever." Well, 5 years in, I still wasn't shut down.
And that's a big fear of, with the testosterone decline going around the world, of people jumping on TRT. There are legit hypogonadal males suffering around 22, 23 years old. Yeah. They're being fear-mongered that, if you improve your quality of life in your 20s, you might not have a kid. And then boom, they sit there, they suffer their whole 20s, and like Tony and you said, right, if they're suppressed, they're going to have even worse sperm count than if their numbers were normal.
Correct.
So it's like they're being, contorted around and pushed towards a psychologist like you were pushed towards to get an SSRI instead of just dealing with the hormones. The hormones are the issue.
Correct.
Like when guys come up to me in the gym, like since I'm like so open about my emotions on YouTube, a lot of dudes like, okay, I can be open with Russo, and they'll come up to me in the gym and like they're like, they're doubting themselves, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I'd really like to see a hormone panel. Like, I swear if they switch their hormones, switch their mentality, like all that fake emotion would go away once they're on the path of getting out of it.
Correct.
Like, when I'm depressed, and I'm fat and depressed, and Tony saw when I was fat and depressed, like, I'm still crawling forward. Correct. And I crawled forward and got out of it. If I sat there like, what's wrong with me? I'm going to go into Western medicine and figure out what's wrong with me. I'd still be fat taking SSRIs, and I'd still be in the same spot.
You'd be trapped in the rabbit hole.
Right.
You would be. I mean, that's like it's funny. It's like you have Tony's experience on that, and you have me. Like you said, I was completely suppressed, not on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just being that average fat American in their 30s. And I changed that through hormones. So
yeah, imagine if you went around to every male and unlocked them and changed them.
Yeah.
Like, you would undo so much damage. It's like they want to silence the one person, unlocking all the rest of the males from the programming.
Yeah, it's like with the majority of men, the professionals, we'll call them, you know what I really mean, are and just closing their eyes and throwing darts at the board instead of really looking.
Yeah, they're just going off what their book tells them to do.
Correct.
And they want to maintain their medical license. They suffer their entire, 20s to get that medical license, to have that status, have that, have that persuasion in their family tree that they're a doctor and they've made it. And they obviously don't want to lose that by just speaking blunt truth and facts.
Yep.
And then, they'll shame someone like me and try and censor someone like me. So that's normally how it goes. Any closing thoughts, Tony?
We're going to find out what happens. Like, I still want more children. It might not be with that girl, but I have other girls applying. Oh, is it? Can you hear me? Did I cut out?
The girls applying.
Other girls applying.
Yeah, I have other girls applying to be baby mama 3, or it could be baby mama 1 or baby mama 2 again. Baby mama 2 moves here in 5 days. She'll be here, so I'll have baby mama 1 and baby mama 2 together, and then some other applicants. So we'll see. It's time to get my fertility back. I got to get on a program. So HMG. Maybe 2 to 3 vials per week is what I would do. Clomid, Blue Ox and Black Ox natural testosterone boosters, and then I would just avoid Deca and Tren, lower the testosterone, keep estrogen just at normal or a little bit above normal. Prioritize using SARMs because SARMs have a very minimal impact on fertility. If fertility is the priority, then SARM.
Well, I hope you guys learned something. I'll see you guys in my next video.